think we're back.
All right. So what we're gonna call this episode 2, season 1 of the Bias but Not Bias
F1
F1
podcast.
podcast. All right.
You know it.
I'm your host, Mr. T. Welcome
I'm
back. Welcome
C.
back. I don't know. We're gonna introduce I don't know what you want to call yourself. We've given ourselves monikers. I give myself Mr. T because everybody that's easy for me and everybody else to remember.
Well,
That was good.
I'm calling myself my name because across all platforms, I'm going to be streamlining it myself. So you can find me at Jermaine Strong on Twitter, Instagram, MySpace, Snapchat,
I said
TikTok.
Black Planet.
the Black Planet. High five.
High five, all of those things.
All right. So what do we got going on? What do we got? So we all right, cool. First practice is coming up tomorrow. Interesting to see how this new season is going to start with all the new cars and all the new designs and everybody creating every new facet of however you want to call it, money spending new design for Formula One. So let's start it off. Mr. C, what are your predictions, or what are you looking forward the most to see with this weekend?
So here's what I think. I think that we're gonna see the same thing we saw last year. I think it's gonna be Mercedes, Red Bull going at it. I think the only spice that you're gonna get, like a spicy change that you're gonna get, I think we're gonna see Ferrari step it up. Like I really think you're gonna see a different Ferrari. I feel like they have two great drivers in Leclerc and in Sainz. And like I said, I'm looking out for Leclerc this season. I told you,
real spicy.
Hey, look, I've been watching this Drive to Survive, which I told you already, and I've been like trying to get into it. It's kind of like a review tape of like a documentary of everyone that runs in the back. And like for a moment, I had like my heart. I was gonna be like, you know what? Let me switch drivers and look at Saints. But then I saw Charles Leclerc's story, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna stick with Leclerc this season just to watch it. But I really think that Ferrari is gonna spice it up. I think they're gonna, if they don't show up this race, I think they're gonna show up in the next couple races, and that's what I think. So
okay, Jermaine.
I think the race is going to be, we know it's going to be Mercedes and Red Bull. I'm interested in McLaren sticking their foot in the ring.
Ooh.
Because that boy Lando got a lot to prove. And between him and Russell, it's going to be a battle. Max and Lewis is Max and Lewis. But the Russell and Lando is what I want to see. But then, like they said, these Ferraris are quick right now. But you know.
You don't think Ricciardo's going to step it up?
That's what I was more so. I was going to pick McLaren for that fact, because I think Ricciardo, this is that season that he has literally either put up or shut up at this point. And I think this is going to be that make it or break it season for him to see if he's going to last or stay in Formula One.
He'll stay. He'll just go to Alfa Romeo. He'll go to Haas. He'll just go down the pecking order. Right now, I feel like he's in a perfect position to be like, he's right in the middle of where, like, I'm here. I can either make a difference or I can lose the seat.
Absolutely, and that's why I'm saying, like, this is his. He needs to make most of the seat, and of course, the Leclercs are going to be the Leclercs, and the Norrises are going to be the Norrises of the field. And like you said, Max and Lewis are going to definitely fight. So you already know, gloves off. It's just going to be a very interesting turn one for the entire field. I want to see who's going to stick their nose out and say, I'm going to make this an interesting race from the get-go. That's going to be my I want to see who wrecks first.
you know who's going to stick their nose out. Because he did it all last season and nobody said anything.
But you think he's
not being biased?
You think he's going to learn or has learned from past seasons and take a new approach?
No, not until they find him, and then you're going to hear but let the drivers drive. And I'm like, my dude, we already saw what happened last year when the drivers drive and all the controversy that happened. So no.
Who do you think is going to bring up the back of the pack?
So the back of top 10 or the complete back of the grid? If you
the midfield is interesting because the top 3 cars now on paper are Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari. We haven't seen Ferrari on top-ish since the cheating debacle. I personally
spice.
Like I'm a Williams fan.
Okay.
They have a new head. So let's see what's going on. I also just love the Martini. I was gonna wear my Martini shirt, but I'm like, oh, it's too soon. I don't want to show my bias. It's too soon.
I mean, my man got the Martini colors in the background going on, but so as far as for back runners, I think Haas is going to definitely be the team that I'm going to be looking out to be the top of the bringing up the rear. As far as mid pack,
there is no mid pack. Mid pack was freaking McLaren and Ferrari.
That's right. So it's kind of
they got their shit together.
So it's kind of shaking up. I don't know.
You still have
Alfa Romeo. You still have.
I think Alfa's going to be in the back.
Alfa.
Who's Bottas driving for again?
Mm-hmm. Because
who's Bottas driving for again?
Alfa Romeo.
Alfa Romeo.
They're going to be in the back.
Why you hitting out on Bottas like that?
The man was in an AMG.
True.
And the man could not finish the last race. And listen, I don't want to harp. If Bottas gave us a little bit of traffic in the last race, we wouldn't be going through what we went through. So
the heartache, the pain,
the whole restructuring of Formula One. That's what we're going to call it. That
okay,
pretty much.
It was a shakeup as far as the rule changes. So they have defined and made it that all lap cars that have been passed by the leader must pass the leader when the signal is given to all the cars. So they're not going to just give that signal to just the cars that have been lapped. So every single car is going to know that, hey, lap cars are now needing to pass. So which is a clear definition of the rule, which everybody was asking for, which is exactly what it should be. There shouldn't be any, I can interpret this rule this way on Saturday, but Sunday it's a different rule.
Different.
You know?
No, I hear you.
So
I just want to see. I want to see how they deal with what's the word they use when you're passing on the inside or when you're attempting to pass. Oh, diving. Let's see what they do with diving, because certain drivers
earlier. That's
certain drivers.
That's what I'm looking.
I won't say any names or divers. We don't want to break these new cars so early. So I just want to see who does diving and who doesn't do diving.
Honestly, I think again until there is a clear, definitive, hey, no, you cannot do this. Certain drivers will continue to drive the way they are because that's what they know, or that's how their comfort zone. Okay. But again, as far as a fight between who we are talking about, the names who shall not be names, and who everybody know that we're talking about, I think this season is going to be gloves off.
Podcast. Let's say it.
So
just say
Lewis is going to be gloves off this season. I don't know, and we already know that he is not going to give no qualms this season. I think, damn a car, damn a bad press. Yeah, but and also at the same time, Max is going to give a fight because he wants to legitimize his world championship at this point.
Okay, so we did a drastic jump. Let's go back. Now we're talking the back of the grid. I know we want to get up front first, guys. Trust me. We all want to talk about the juicy stuff. But I think if we're going to say someone who's running from the back, I feel like after watching everything and testing And because I know we really can't judge everything off testing, but we still can't. I think that Alfa Romeo is going to struggle a lot. I don't think I think if Haas is going to struggle, it's going to be because of more engine failure than anything.
I just realized they're running Ferrari engines. Yeah. I thought they were running Hondas.
No, they were running Ferrari engines from. Oh my god! I think from when they started, they were running Ferrari engines.
That's why they keep fucking losing.
Hey, Ferrari's not that bad.
Ferrari's not. So again, for the past couple of years, you can honestly say that Ferrari has not been focusing on that current development season. So yeah, the motors that they were giving out, I'm pretty sure were still the old B spec motors, so they weren't that great anyway. So I think this new step into this new season, that with the new development of the motors, that they're probably going to have something to give to Alfa Romeo to give them a little spice.
Can I just be real for a second? I just don't think that they. I'm only saying this because I just don't think that Alfa Romeo is ready. Like, they just don't look. They don't look ready. They even said it in testing that their car wasn't done being developed. You know what I mean? And it's like,
that's money. That comes down to the money in the sport, bro.
Dude, every Ferrari dealership, well, the old, like, Alfa Romeo has money. They're a sister company to Ferrari. You know what I mean? So it's not like they don't have money.
But when was the last time you've seen an Alfa Romeo over Ferrari commercial on television? More so than you see.
Romeo commercial. I have not seen a Ferrari commercial. Like, once in a blue moon, I'm telling you, like, if they say once in a blue moon, no, once in a pink freaking star is the only time
you see a Ferrari commercial.
I've never in my life. I've seen a Lamborghini.
And again, I've seen you see Red Bull advertisement every time that you walk out your house, step down the street, go into a store. So their coffers are very deep, and the same as Mercedes. And Mercedes is, again, advertised brand, and so teams like that have a lot of money elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
They can take their money that they're getting from Formula One and just put that right back into Formula One. Are they going to be the teams that are going to be the leader top packs on this?
So out of all those teams, so you're saying Haas and Alfa Romeo. I like I said, I say Alfa Romeo.
Yeah.
Germ says Haas.
I say Haas.
I don't know how we are bystanding Williams right now, bro.
Because I like Williams. That's why we're going to lease them. We're going to leave Williams alone. They're on the new management. It's a new car.
Want to see
Williams is going to be bringing up the midfield. How about that?
It's interesting because, again, they got new management, and it's going to be a new rule change. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see what they do. But I can I dare say I'm not holding my breath to see them do anything spectacular.
Let me tell you, when I stopped loving Williams, I stopped loving Williams when they left the contract with these guys.
Alex Albon is driving for Williams now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he
Wait,
came
you didn't
back.
know that? Come on, guy. You're supposed to be up on your Formula One. You should know. You should already know who the seats were in. Yeah, Albon.
I was just on the fan page because they have this watch thing going on right now where you have to register to get the free watch. So I'm a Williams fan.
There you go, right?
I know Latifi.
Here with a new Richard Mille watch.
Right.
Just, hey, check it out. I won it from Williams.
Nah, I want to get that German Rolex from Mercedes, man. They giving out them Rolexes.
Chinese driver go to Alpha. How do you say this guy's name?
Guangzhou.
Yeah, you know, how do you say his name, T? How you say it?
Guangzhou.
How did you get the pronunciation? You must have heard him say
it. I heard Martin Brundle mess it up several times, and Guangzhou correct him. So yes, I have learned his name.
They're gonna have so many Chinese citizens. Wow, that's gonna be a public access.
Listen,
30 million people watching Formula One.
That's the whole point of it. So his money is going to be
China market.
Is going to be explosive. So listen, you think about how the amount of people that they have there watching Formula One now. there's gonna be people that has never watched Formula One watching the sport now just because there's a Chinese driver.
But can we be real? It's the same thing happened with Lewis. Like, I mean, we were watching Formula One then, but Lewis changed the market and brought in like a whole different dynamic into.
My man shows up to the racetrack with a new fit every day. Come on,
you have
what
to.
you doing?
Fashion.
My man is out here.
You have to, but it did. I will agree with you with that. Lewis did bring a different dynamic to Formula One in terms of people of color or in general. This Spanish has always been there because Spanish has always been in the sport. But yeah, definitely people of color and have definitely gravitated to Lewis just because he's Lewis. And yeah,
we could also say the same with Alonso, because if you think about it, Alonso brought in like that, that Spanish crowd in. And with him doing that, and especially like him winning the world championship, that like it like opened up, like everybody in Spain was like going.
Not Juan Pablo Montoya.
You always had because he's Colombian, so you always had South Americans running in it. So you had you had Senna, who was Brazil, who was winning it. So South Americans, they were there. You know what I mean? I think if you're gonna, they're there, and it's just like even I mean, I'm just saying the different dynamics, because I mean I've gone through the archives, and you know me, I'm an old
school historian right here.
94s and 93 tapes, and sitting there, and
this guy's going in his basement blowing dust off of VHS tapes, and
you want to know a funny story? Me and Germ, whenever we used to go to Lime Rock, the nights before we went to Lime Rock, we would watch like a rally tape or a British touring car tape, and then we'd get so hyped. The next morning we'd be ready to go to Lime Rock. So it's just a thing, man. But
I get you, man. But all right. So I mean, some interesting as far as developments from over the weekend. Everybody, some Red Bull, they brought in their new slim side pod. They wanted to be, I think, a little bit close to what Mercedes was bringing, but they couldn't develop it in time, so they just shrink wrapped their side pod. Again, as far as all these teams that brung everything that they've brung, who stood out in design besides obviously the Mercedes with the extra slim side pod? Who stood out in this development for you?
I'm gonna go with I don't know, man. I'm just gonna go with Ferrari, because to me, I just felt like Ferrari because I would have said McLaren, because when we were talking about how they had the car set up perfectly and through the first day of testing, but I just feel like Ferrari to me had a better just everything, like, and they had less headaches than a lot of the teams. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep, Ferrari put all the money in. They've been running last for how many years now?
Stab. I'm gonna be the differentiator in this party, and I have to say McLaren, because as far as I'm looking at what they brung, they started off with carbon fiber brake disc, and now they've upgraded that to some metal brake disc, and they've done a lot of things on the front end between the first set of testing to now. So I think as far as who's got it dialed in and all the testing and everything, I think McLaren has. Can I say everything in a kind of a good bubble? But are they going to be fast with what they have? That's going to be the question.
Yeah. Well, can I just say something? I object to you and your Ferrari propaganda. First of all, you have to sit here and act like Sebastian Vettel did almost win the title 2 times, all right? 2 times. And then after that, if we're going to go back and think about Ferrari, remember, it was McLaren that got caught cheating, all right? And McLaren was the one that got caught cheating, and Ferrari was the one who sued them. So we're not gonna play that game, all right? Ferrari's there.
You ever wonder after every race and you see the Ferrari pit, don't they just not look fun?
What?
Like what's the principal's name again? Who's the team leader of Ferrari?
Binotto.
He reminds me of the dude from Ghostbusters. Who's the one that died?
Oh wow,
Egon.
that's so messed up.
Oh man, I mean, honestly, again, the Tifosi are at their happiest when they're winning. When they're not winning, it's like the ghost of Enzo is literally raining clouds over everything at Ferrari. So
I thought the previous guy was pretty good. Like to me, like the previous guy that they had before. I thought that he sued like Ferrari. Like to me, he was everything Ferrari was looking for.
But he wasn't winning. That's
his fault.
He wasn't winning. That's what I'm saying. Do you understand? It doesn't matter who you are in that seat, as long as you are winning.
All Ferrari wants is for the principal to win Monza. That's the only race they care about. They keep trying to say, "Oh, this is our home race. We're going to win Monza."
Don't forget Imola. Imola is done.
Monza, Imola. McLaren wiped their face off this past on Monza, but that's because Max took out Lewis. But I get it.
That's another conversation. Peace. But yeah. Again, can McLaren do it? I think they could fight. Can Ferrari do it? I think Ferrari has a better chance out of the two to do anything. But again, we're still forgetting about AlphaTauri, and you're you know what I mean, those guys back there.
AlphaTauri is going to be a mid-pack team. They've always been a mid-pack team from day one.
Hey man, you know, maybe Red Bull threw him a little sugar and said, "Hey man, be our midfield blocking situation for everybody else that's coming up behind us."
First of all, the moment if AlphaTauri wins 3 races, Red Bull's throwing protests everywhere. They're gonna be like, "Hey, what's going on here?"
Hold on.
That's the same thing.
They're gonna be out here touching cars again.
Touching cars.
Yeah, but that's the same thing that happened with them when they were doing the moat. Remember when they were trying to figure out if they were going to stay with Renault or if they were going to drive with Honda, and then they saw like all the AlphaTauri cars that were running Honda motors, and they were like, "Oh my God, they're not that bad."
Wait a minute.
You know what? You can't have all the fun. We want the fun too. So
true. Man, all right. Well, we'll see. We'll see what's going on with them guys. I don't know. Can I say I like that Alpine brought back the pink in Formula One, with the pink BWT.
The Air Force India.
The Air Force India. Come on, man. They can't let that livery die, man. That's an interesting livery that has to stay in Formula One, man.
That's the truth. But they haven't. But I even so, as we're talking about designs, I don't even think Alpine has put in much into. I mean, they say they look quick and they say that they're okay, but I mean, I just don't see them like with everything that they brought. Like when Mercedes like came to the second testing, and everybody was like, "Yo, that's crazy!" Like they came with nothing. Renault, and I'm gonna call them Renault because they want to call themselves Alpine, but they're Renault. They pretty much just ran the same thing, like nothing changed. I was like, okay, all right, so we're running average. Okay, they're gonna be where they are.
Again, it just boils down to money and development. I mean, you can have all this time and however you want and wind tunnels and however what you, but if you don't have the money to really develop your car and your motor around the car, or car around your motor or your power unit, whatever you want to call it, then again you're just going to be that mid-run impact. But I think that's going to be a team for, you know, that when people make that step up from F2 to F1, you know, that they'll be in, you know what I mean?
It's not like back in the days, man. F2, you remember F2 back in the day, Germ? It was like all the young drivers who were really good, they got like a seat. There was no question that if you won the championship in Formula 2, you got a seat.
Even it was literally a road path to Formula 1. But now it's, again, you can win 2-3 championships and still not make it, which is kind of crazy to me.
Who's the kid? Was it Grosjean who got the fireball and he's in an IndyCar now?
Yeah.
I think Grosjean was a pretty good driver.
What? No. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I have to disagree with you on that.
I think was a pretty good driver. He just got stuck in a bad car.
Nope.
No.
I was shooting him.
He was an okay driver.
I was shooting him some bail. I was trying.
He was an okay driver, and I think the switching over to this new sport that he's in better suits him again. Again, out of everybody who has left the sport now, again, Magnussen, I think, yes, he did get a raw deal and now he's back. Hulkenberg, can I say there, he's not consistent enough to be to for any one team to say, hey, we're going to make him our permanent reserve driver.
Bad luck. That guy has bad juju.
Something around him. Yeah, he pissed off.
I got one question for you guys.
Yeah.
Last year when Lewis was sick,
do
you think the team purposely jammed up Russell?
No, absolutely not.
Could you imagine just putting the kid in that seat and winning, setting the fastest lap, qualify lap, then winning? Listen, I'm not a conspiracy person, but that's like saying, all right, Hamilton is only winning because of Mercedes. You put someone else in the car, bingo. Driver.
I think this is that season where it's going to show that no, it wasn't one of those. Again, Lewis is a great driver, and we were just talking about this the other day that he's a driver that's ability to drive a car literally to its edge and keep it on its edge the entire race, and that takes a different type of driver. Well,
which is what he did with the trash McLaren. Because you remember when he won the championship and they did the car design, he had a good car. It's just that the car was just unreliable.
So what are you telling me? Team orders right now? Team orders?
For what?
Lewis Russell?
No,
they let him drive.
There's going to be obviously a clear 1 and 2, but I don't think there's going to come down to a race where there's going to say, Russell's faster, let him pass. No, you already know that's how that's going to go. Come get it if you really want it. And almost running out of time on this, so we're going to take a break in about like a couple minutes here. So let's take
a break now.
Let's take a break now.
We can wrap up.
Cool. So I'll finish that thought on the next half here. All right.
Cool.
All right.
We're back.
So we're back. Okay. Well, we were talking about George Russell being a number 2 and Lewis stepping in and doing what he's doing.
Yeah, but first of all, let me get in this. First of all, we're not going to disrespect George Russell because George Russell drove the shit out of that Williams car, so he definitely earned his. Because remember, he was putting the Williams in what was it, Q3, right? Or Q1?
Q3. He's making it all in Q3. And that's again, even with the problems that they were having and whatever you want to call it, low development that they were having, and he was still driving the shit out of that car. So I'm very interested to see what he does in a Mercedes full time. With a car that has been kind of suited to him instead of a pseudo car that his knees are touching the steering wheel. You know what I mean?
So if we're going to talk about that, we need to talk about Mick Schumacher driving the shit out of that house and Magnussen saying the goddamn car was undrivable.
No, first of all, Mick Schumacher drove the hell out of that car. And he didn't have any upgrades. So yes, we can take our hat off to him because remember when they were talking about all the new upgrades that were coming in, who were they going to? Mazepin. Sorry, Mazepin.
Mazepin.
Yeah. So he was getting upgrades, and he was still coming dead last. And I was like, yo,
last. But that's my thing though. Like how do you there has to be one race that you didn't come last.
If you watch the Netflix soap opera drama, you can see his father say, we're gonna pull the money back. We're gonna pull the money back. Switch the cars. That boy was just driving. That boy was driving.
That's what I'm saying. So can I dare I say that if a seat opens up at Ferrari, that may go there. If a seat opens up at Mercedes in the next few years, do we see Mick in the Mercedes?
Absolutely not. Lando's going to Mercedes next.
So here's the thing. I said the same thing, but here's the thing. If a seat opens up, so it would have to work in dynamic, right? Mm-hmm. So if Lewis leaves, so what's going to happen? You'd have to pick between Charles Leclerc and Sainz. One of them is going to leave and go to a big team. There's no questions asked because of the sponsorship money that they have backing them, right? So one of them is going to leave. And so if, let's say, Sainz leave, Sainz could get a drive with Mercedes, but it's up to Mercedes Mercedes knows what they want. Like, that's why they scattered out Lewis Hamilton in the beginning. Like, they even said in the beginning when they brought Niki Lauda in, and they were like, yo, who do you think would suit Mercedes? And they were like, yo, get Lewis. Mm-hmm. So that's how Mercedes is going to have to look at it, who's going to suit them. And then from there, because Ferrari will give Mick Schumacher the seat, but Ferrari needs to make sure that Mick Schumacher stays consistent. And that's the thing. You got to be consistent.
They have definitely that. Consistency is going to be the key. Well, it's always the key. But I think for Ferrari or Mick to make a Ferrari work, yes, they have to be consistent, and he would have to be a consistent driver. How, as far as for Checo, I don't see him there.
He's running point guard for Max. That's it.
Damn. We're not going to disrespect Checo either, because Checo was driving when he was at Air Force India.
He wasn't driving last season. He was blocking. He was
doing his number two, which he was brung in to do.
He was doing everything that Bottas should have done. Let's just say
exactly.
And that's why we don't have Bottas.
You know, they Mercedes gave Bottas chances with the years that they gave him. You know, signing him on 1-year contracts to be like, okay, hey, something.
That's why I was so surprised with Ricardo, because I thought that Ricardo, like, he would have been perfect at Mercedes. You know what I mean? And like, if you really wanted like a competitive dynamic at Mercedes, I thought Ricardo Lewis would have been perfect. That's just
it wasn't the right time to bring him in, because you had that fight with Max. You know what I mean? That fight with Max, you can't take away from that. You can't take away the focus, have an inter-team fight like they did with Nico, and fight with Max. That's not going to work.
Yeah,
because you see what happened. You know, they almost lost the championship to Vettel when they had that inter-team battle between Nico and Lewis.
Yeah,
Ricardo still got it. You're gonna see him. You're gonna see some more shoeies this year. I guarantee you.
I see him winning some races, but again, he has to. For whatever reason, he was just in a funk. Like, you know, he had a car behind him. He had a car that could be, you know, possibly a third step on the podium. But he was just not confident in the car, which is, you know, I don't know what can you say about that. He just didn't look comfortable in the car, and he even made it known over the radio. And that smiling face that he usually has was not there last season. You know what I mean? So I think now we got the smiles back. I think we're going to start to see some good racing out of Ricardo. So
And Lando Norris was driving last season, so he was like, I don't care what no one says, and that's why I understand where you're coming from when you say Lando would be perfect for Mercedes, because that's what I was saying towards the ending of the season. I was like, yo, Lando would be perfect for Mercedes. But
what I was saying toward the season is Lando needs to listen to his goddamn crew. Come in for tires, boy. That's what you need.
But that's experience. I think that's kind of because Lewis fought his pit box many times, and then he got to the point where he's like, okay, wait.
Lewis didn't fight. He had a conversation. He says, I don't think so. Lando says, shut up.
Yeah, he did.
Shut up and let me drive, right?
Lewis said, I think we can handle it, guy. That's how you can tell an experienced racer who's knows what he has to do to a guy who's, we're hanging on. If he pitted when they said, how about you think about coming in for tires, he would have won that race.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Won that race.
and again, that comes down to experience. You know what I mean? You know, when to call that shot and when to listen to the pit box. You know what I mean? Because there has been
Mazepin came in. He's from Russia. He knew what the weather was going to be.
Hold on. Let's not forget, and let's not be biased, because remember when we were watching that race, T, and I said, yo, that's so crazy, because this is like the perfect storm for Lewis, because Max was like, I think Max was like mid-pack, and then Max came in, changed tires, and came third in that race. And I was like, yo, out of that whole race, Red Bull got
they have the new power unit.
Excuse me.
And they have the new power unit. But let's listen. There's a thing called intervals. Third, 35 seconds late is a difference in third. So he was third, but he was third. He wasn't third. He was third.
He was a distant third.
He was a distant third.
He wasn't a distant third. You remember he had like a really bad. I think he had gotten to like an accident, and then like he spun.
I'm gonna pull up the results right now. Hold on.
This guy, but no, I think he spun, and then what happened was he ended up pitting early, because when Lewis pitted, he pit, and then he came out, and that's when everybody was sliding all over the track, and he started passing people, and I was like, dude, that's crazy, because like he had the best advantage in that whole, like, because he was having a horrible race. He was like, I think he was like 10th or 11th, or he wasn't even in the points.
Oh, how we not gonna talk about how when Lewis came from the back of the pack to what the freaking what was it? Damn near win the race. Or I mean,
yeah.
Come on. So yeah. So again, until that happens with a lot of other team drivers, we can't say anything about those other team drivers.
I think that was one of my favorite videos online is what, and looking at comments, is watching the comments of when Lewis drove in Brazil, and he started passing all the cars, and like
everybody.
He was like, you could plainly see that there's a disadvantage, and I was like, no, there's no disadvantage. You can plainly see somebody's driving
their ass off, bro.
Yo,
like, come on, man.
So.
You got your Richard Mille from McLaren, man. Did you win it?
I'm waiting for the email back though.
Oh, did you guys see? I meant to bring this up earlier. Did you see that they're trying to get a Las Vegas Grand Prix?
Can I dare say it's gonna be like Miami, expensive as hell, and it's gonna not make any sense. They're gonna probably put it at another Hard Rock.
Yeah, they probably will, and it would be like Hard Rock will monopolize it with Red Bull,
right?
I want to see what this Miami bullshit's gonna be.
I'm just tired of flat tracks, man. I want to see, I want to see some interesting. I want to see some really interesting elevation changes.
Not everything can be a spa, dog. Not everybody.
But we can't say that, because look at Monaco. Monaco's not really a great track.
Monaco should not be raced on.
Why you say
every
that?
time I have Formula 1 21, the video game. I just skipped that race.
Literally, dude. That is
How
one
do you
of the
drive
races.
that track?
Like, I think in modern Formula One, I think that the speeds have gone way past that track's capability, but they keep it for the nostalgia factor of the race, of the race itself.
That whole track is a fuck no. I
Listen,
couldn't even get through the first practice. Every corner, first of all, every corner is a blind corner. And if you're driving the real view like I am, I'm not driving the hood top. I'm driving
cockpit.
in the cockpit. I'm like, yo, how do you not die?
and that's why you got to take your hat off to.
And hold on, what's that other track? I think is it Baku?
Baku's
another one
that has that freaking kink that goes up a hill through like like a small little road. Like, what are we doing?
Hey,
and then you take that flat out.
But
these people are nuts.
Then you have old tracks like Nürburgring. Nürburgring is a great track.
Everybody dies at Nürburgring. That's not a good comparison. They call it the green hell for a reason.
But they're not driving the Nordschleifer. Like, you can't do that.
That was the real one. Nürburgring
was the real race.
The GP is the watered down. Okay, let's not have people dying anymore.
Let's not all die at once race. Let's probably over time. But the green hell. Come on, man. Those trees have claimed more lives. Come on, man.
I mean, trees have claimed civics, rental cars, everything right now. People still crash from those things.
But
we're not jumping into domestic cars. We're staying in Formula One now. Formula One.
Listen.
But no, what I'm saying is that you still have the classic tracks. I just hope that whatever track they do for Vegas it's like, if they do Vegas, because I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to substitute a Vegas style track for Russia, since they're not doing the Russian Grand Prix. So
we should just hold it in goddamn St. Petersburg.
They might need to change the China track too soon if China keep doing whatever they're doing. But again, we're not going to get political here.
We're not going to get political.
We are not getting. Listen, we got a Chinese driver, dog. We got to click off some boxes. We got to go to China. We got to sell some merch,
right? But
I think they should bring back South Africa. I think they should bring a South African Grand Prix. I'd love to see that.
Australia has been redone supposedly, so Australia is going to have some new life to it.
Yeah, I don't know. Can I dare? Yeah, I don't care for either one of those tracks.
or you can bring back Valencia too. You can bring back Valencia. Valencia was a nice track. It wasn't bad. It was a street track. I mean, I guess we're just sick of street tracks. You know what I mean? I like, that's why I like Zolder, because Zolder was like, it was new. You know what I mean? And it was just different. So
interesting race on the schedule. So what do we got? We got Saudi Arabia, Australia, Italy, United States, Spain, Azerbaijan, Canada, Great Britain, Austria, France, Hungary, Belgium, the Netherlands. Got Italy again. So they're gonna do Italy, and then Singapore, Japan, United States, with the Miami Grand Prix in May, and then they got the Texas in October.
So they're doing back to back in the US?
Yeah, so they're doing 2 US races, they're doing 2 Italy races. And yeah, so those are going to be the only race or countries that they're going to be doing 2 races in. So they're going Italy. The first one is Romania, Italy, then Romania, and then they got the. Let's see here, what we got.
I'm trying to think what track they could bring back that was fun.
All I'm saying is that in Britain, I'm looking for an all Mercedes lockout. I need to see all British drivers 1, 2, 3. For the countrymen, they can bring it home. It'll be very interesting.
Can you imagine that? A 1, 2, 3 British driver for the British Grand Prix? That'd be crazy, bro. That
Yeah.
would be nuts.
All three. I want to see all three of them hug it out. Just hug it out, throwing champagne on everybody.
Right.
That would be nuts.
Yeah. So I don't know. Can I say that there's not a race that I'm just really like looking forward to see this year. I just really want to see all of them and what everybody has to bring to Formula One, because I think every track is right now is going to be really interesting, and especially with the new shit.
I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be fun. I think. I like I said, this first race is definitely gonna just determine. I'm not gonna say. Let me not say the first race. The first 3 races is gonna determine what the season is gonna look like. Let's say that.
The first race is going to determine what the season look like. You're going to
Can't say
see
that.
who can't keep up, whose brakes catches on fire because they didn't fucking put the right ones on. You're going to see who dives bombs. You're going to see if the car still, what's the platypus? What's the terminology we're using right now?
Porpoising.
That shit.
He said,
You're going to see who car porpoises. And if you're watching this on YouTube for the first time and you don't know what we're talking about, Netflix, Drive to Survive. This is not a promo. Do your research. You'll be caught right up.
Right.
You'll have your favorite driver. You'll have your enemy.
Yeah, you'll have to be able to pick and choose through this real world versus road rules challenge that they have on Netflix called Formula One Drive to Survive. But yeah, like I said, interesting. I don't know. No, last episode we picked our 3 drivers that we're going to be looking forward to watching this season through and through. Now you get to choose your 3 drivers that you are going to be following this season.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to go by in order. First, Mr. Norris.
Charles Norris.
Second, Latifi Williams.
Okay.
Third, Bottas, because he has a lot to prove.
Okay. I did say Bottas as well. Because like I said, I definitely wanted to see what he's gonna do at his new team, and now having essentially a number 1 seat because he's a veteran driver in a sense on the team.
He's out of the Hamilton shadow. Let's see, baby, shake it off. Get those cobwebs off.
And that's the same thing I was thinking about. For Russell, he's gonna have to show that he can step out of that shadow and fight. And I think it's gonna take a Nico type effort, dare I say, for him to do that. Because as you will come to learn on this channel, that I think that Nico bought his championship. I will say that now. But he did drive his behind off that season. But he literally left nothing on the table. Absolutely nothing on the table.
If you had watched the Netflix soap opera, they went to Russell and they told Russell, you'll be driving for Mercedes, which is the best thing in the world, but you're also going to be driving against Hamilton, which is the worst thing in the world. So strap up. It's going to be interesting. He has to show pace. He has to show consistency, and he's going to have to show defense. How long is Hamilton's contract got extended for? Two more years?
Till 2023, end of 23.
So. All right. Well, he needs one more. He's going to win this year. So Russell, you might get second. That's second and third. That's about it. I think he's capable of that.
Yeah.
I mean,
as long as Max doesn't take him out, he'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I think Russell's going to do well. I think he's going to try and prove himself in the first 2 races. But what I'm afraid of is him trying to overdo it. That's what I don't want him to do. I don't want him to overdo it and end up like every Red Bull driver. And I only say that because if you think about it, look like if you like you say you drive I'm watching the Drive to Survive, but I'm only saying I'm seeing the back end of it, but I remember just watching it. And if you looked at every Red Bull driver that came in, to drive second to Max Verstappen, what happened to them? Oh, you're not good enough. We're going to swap you up for this. Oh, you overdrove the car. It's like they let the pressure get to them. And that's the one thing I don't want for Russell. I don't want the pressure to
Can
get
I
to
say
him
that
and
that Red Bull dynamic with them and Max and the Alex Albon and what was it Gasly, that Red Bull they were literally jumping the gun on one on Albon, because again,
oh shit, I forgot about Kvyat too.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Damn it, I forgot about Kvyat because he was that honestly uninspiring. Sorry. But like I said, they put them in the seats, and in the moment that they had a second of showing a rookiness in them, which they were very, a lot of them were very young when they made their mistakes and they got booted back to AlphaTauri or whatever you wanted to call them at that time. It was just the Red Bull dynamic is not Mercedes, and Mercedes will not do that. I think Mercedes will give you enough rope to say, okay, we're giving you a shot, we gave you a second shot, we gave you a third shot. Now, okay, we need to start now making decisions on what we're doing if you're not producing. So I don't think if he has a bad season or if he has a bad season starting with them, that he's going to be out. No, because they would have did that with Bottas.
And that's all I want. I just want him to get too excited because because it's like you're finally getting your shot, and it's like I got my shot, and now I just don't want him to overdrive. I just want him to be the Russell that we know, that came into Mercedes, showed what he can do, went back to Williams and still drove his ass off and showed what he can do. And we were just like, yo, you got this, kid. Like, you've already shown what you can do. And when you came in, you made Bottas look like a joke. Like a joke, bro.
That's what blew my mind, that race. I was like, hold on, this guy he has not driven this car much this season, maybe in some pre-testing, what I mean? Comes in, just does a few laps and is managing this car way better than you. There has to be something mentally that's going on, or you're just not fit for that car. And that's kind of what it was for him. But again, he's now at a different team. Now he's on, he's a quote unquote veteran of his own team. So more proud, hat off to him. Definitely gonna be watching him. But yeah, man, I want to see some interesting stuff from Sergio Perez this season. Can I say that?
No, yeah. Don't be biased.
I want to see some interesting driving from him. I think he did his part as number 2 the past 2 seasons, and I think that Red Bull should kind of give him a little shine, and hopefully he does, man.
But it all depends on what he does in these next 3 races. It's either going to determine if you're going to be a number 2 or we fighting for a championship.
Is Max championship tainted?
There is an asterisk next to his name in that championship book. So no self-respecting Formula One fan, not just a Red Bull fan or a Max fan, will say that they felt that championship was won fair and square.
I think Red Bull even knows that as well. Because I'm gonna be honest, I've been looking for their celebrations, and I've been looking for their like, hurrah, we
won a championship, but
nothing. I've been waiting for the limited edition Formula One Red Bull can. Nothing.
This guy's nothing. Dude, I can't even drink, dude. To this day, I can't even drink a Red Bull because it just gets me so hot. Because
God damn
it doesn't get me
That's
hot.
blasphemy, man. We might get sponsored. Cut it out.
You never know, right?
No, it just gets me hot because like I watch like I said, I tell you, I'm a fan.
No.
So like I said, I've seen when Schumacher took out Hill. I've seen when Senna took out Senna, took out like Prost and everybody else. So I've
Did
seen it.
Schumacher crash? Was that dude Hill, or which one did he crash? Schumacher ran somebody.
Schumacher
off.
ran into Hill. He ran into Damon Hill in it was the Australian Grand Prix.
It wasn't Schumacher. Listen. A lot of people don't want to talk about it. Didn't Schumacher cheat a lot? Wasn't that the cheating days?
Whoa, guy! Whoa, we're not just gonna sit here and just.
What are we doing here?
Throw the goat under the bus.
God damn it!
Hey,
this is too early. It's too early for this.
One day there's just gonna be a podcast on how Schumacher.
I don't want to end up in the back of a BMW. Okay.
Ferrari just made some cool designs that people weren't ready for yet. Let's just leave it that way. And Schumacher just happened to be one of the best drivers that suited him.
Yeah.
So yeah. No.
Again, I don't need the Tifosi knocking on my door. Again, I please. All right, we don't need no soccer hooligans knocking on our door here. Okay.
And how does it make Schumacher not driving for Ferrari?
Because he's too young. Too young. Charles Leclerc is still there, and
Carlos Sainz.
It's Carlos Sainz, which are really good driver. And Carlos Sainz has lots of money and prestige that comes with his pappy. So that's why
he's not going to sit here and act like his dad was a two-time WRC champ,
the car champ as well. I mean, so. Again, his pappy brings a lot, and that Sainz name and that's what we were talking about last night too. That the sport has gone to a lot where money is driving a lot of the sport, and if you can bring sponsorship money and a sort of prestige with your name, regardless of again who is winning in F2, you're most likely going to get a seat. And we saw that happen with Mazepin, and obviously this whole stuff that's going on across the world. And we saw that as soon as that happened, they pulled the money from him. His contract went where went the driver as well. So you know what I mean,
it was the same thing. Like it's the same thing that happened with Stroll. Do you remember it? So Lance Stroll, his dad was like, I don't like what's going on here at Williams. The car is driving right. When he pulled the money and was like, oh, well, I'll just buy my own team.
And Clara was freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
So
where's Stroll now?
Stroll is with he's with Aston Martin.
Aston Martin, the Green Boys.
They're going to be interesting this year to see, because I just don't know where they are. Like don't get me wrong. Yes, you have Aston Martin backing you, but how I don't know about them. I think they're going to struggle.
Yeah, and I've been saying this for a while because it just seemed like Vettel was kind of packing it in and just doing all this PR to kind of retire, but then he's like, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna stay a little bit, stay a little bit longer.
Aston Martin is a pretty color car though.
I love the livery. Can I say I love that shade of shiny green and white? It makes
shitty road cars, but race cars very nice.
It does, man.
Since we're talking about Vettel, he has COVID, guys.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, I think Formula One definitely has taken massive steps to make sure that nobody, the entire grid's protected against it, and but it's just gonna happen. It's just what it is with the day and age that we're living in, that somebody's gonna catch COVID. It's gonna and it's unfortunate that Ricardo, he just got in his and Kate got over it, and now got Vettel's gonna miss the first race of the season. Man, is it gonna hurt him? No, I don't think so. I think he's gonna jump back right in and be good.
I mean, but it probably would hurt him if Stroll wins the first race of the season, and you say to yourself, "Man, we have a championship winning car, and I got sick." But
But if you got a championship car, then you jump right back in. It's not like they say like, "Oh yeah, no, you got COVID, so yeah, you can't race for the rest of the season." Now you have you got COVID. I got over it, and now I can go ahead and start adding to my points now because come on, Lance Stroll is not winning all the races this season. Come on, come on.
Now, I'm gonna ask this question to both of you guys. Do you think that we're gonna have another 2009 silly season?
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be as far as drastic where you have like a Haas winning, or Williams coming and placing first place. I don't think it's gonna be that silly, but I think it's gonna be interesting as far as teams being shook up as far as the order goes. And I think people that you thought were fast in pre-testing are not gonna be as fast. And obviously your sandbaggers are gonna throw those sandbags off and kind of do what they do. No, so I don't really see too much of a crazy silly season, but I see a more sort of a mid-pack shakeup as far as if anything.
Okay. What about you?
I know we're gonna see Mercedes stop sandbagging first of all, and then we're gonna see who follows.
Okay.
Listen, these new cars, they race well with each other. We're gonna hear people stop bitching about I can't follow him. Now follow his ass. Let's see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they say, but I read something that they were saying that you could get closer, but we're slower, and how that's going to correlate to do I want to stay behind this person? No, absolutely not.
And you remember we spoke about that in our last conversation. Remember we said that about the FIA the FIA WEC cars, when I was like, they started off really slow, but then what happened after time and development, they were like the fastest car around the Le Mans track, and they were breaking all the records. So I feel like that's probably what's going to happen. Like, and even when they changed up the car, when they were like, oh, these cars were much slower than the V12s or and then what happened? They were like cracking out faster laps than than the older V12s and and V10s. So I mean, I think yes, they'll probably be a little slow this season, but I think once they get the aerodynamics and they get the best of what they get, the car is going to be just as fast as the older ones.
Yeah. So again, right now there is literally zero across the board in terms of information on these new cars and all that they spent millions of dollars developing in the off season. So until, like you said, there is a change in the tracks here. Like I said, they're going to be going to Bahrain here, and then Saudi Arabia and Australia. Those are three completely different in terms of tracks. So there's going to be a lot of data collected in terms of what works and what doesn't work in those three tracks, and that's going to make or break the rest of the season. Because after that, then you got your standard tracks, which are going to kind of follow suit with everything else that Saudi Arabia and Australia and Bahrain already had. So yeah. But dun.
I like I said, tomorrow's going to be big. Tomorrow you're still going to see some people sandbagging a little, but
you think?
Oh yeah. Everybody, because you got to understand, you're not going to see the true. No one ever shows in practice. They always show the trueness when it comes to qualifying. That's when everybody takes the gloves off, because remember last year when they were running the testing, it was like, oh well, Mercedes looks good. And then when everybody started qualifying, they were like, yo, where's the Red Bull getting this? Like, we knew they had pace, but man, they look quick. And even I was like, yo, Mercedes gonna have a hunt.
Oh yeah, I did say that at the beginning of the season that Mercedes is gonna have a fight from those couple races. But yeah, I think again, this is a new rule change, and I think people are going to be running race programs this weekend, so you're going to have your, obviously your low fuel runs and stuff like that. So again, this Friday, I'm not really going to be watching the times. I'm just going to be interested to see who's reliable. That's what I'm going to be looking for on Friday. Who is reliable and whose car just doesn't blow up.
And that's why I'm interested to see what Ricardo's going to do, because Ricardo really hasn't gotten too much testing in the car. So I'm willing to, because this is going to be like another test session for him. If you think about it. So.
Yeah. But I again, like I said, I think he's gonna do good this season in terms of better than last season, because he can only go. He did bad last season, and then again, I think he should do a lot better in terms of driving, because I think he's now more comfortable. Again, he got that smile back. So, but all right, man.
What'd you say?
Let's see. I'm over.
Yeah,
absolutely, man. So, so we're gonna take a break and get back to you guys in a few minutes. Get something to drink.
All right, cool.
All right.
Pay them bills.
All right.
We back.
So we are back. So wrapping up here, we're going to pick or make our predictions for the weekend, who we want to see. Obviously we want to see who we want to see win the races, but who we think is going to be our most interesting driver for the weekend too. So me, obviously, I definitely want Mercedes boys to come out and win, but as far as interesting person to come back or interesting team to come and see, I want to see Ferrari. I definitely want to see them come out. I love that red and black livery that they're running, and I want to see Ferrari get back to the winning races of old. You know what I mean?
What you got, Jerome?
You're not gonna like my talking points.
Let's hear them.
I want to see what Max does.
Ooh.
He has the most to prove and the most to lose.
Okay.
Second, I don't know. It's either between Norris and Valtteri.
Okay.
Because I feel like they're the next. Well, Norris is the next upcoming, and Valtteri, because we took him out of a winning car. Let's see if you can still drive. Let's see if you have the hunger.
Okay.
But that still doesn't ask what are your predictions for the race.
Oh, yeah. Max won, second Lando. And I don't know why. I know Lewis is gonna be up there, but I feel like Lewis is gonna get crashed out.
Ooh.
I feel like Lewis is gonna get crashed out.
I don't know.
He has a bone to pick. The man normally doesn't drive with emotions, but he's going to have a lot of emotions, and everything is going to be watching Lewis.
But can I say that even when he had his emotions, he still was whipping Max's ass in Dubai with the emotions, because he was pissed in Dubai, dude, and he drove the car.
He ain't a champion right now. I'm just being devil's advocate. I just call some bullshit.
Damn.
I'm just telling you right now.
Damn, shots fired.
Listen, as much as I want Mr. Hamilton, he got to shake that shit off, dog. He lost.
True.
I think he's come to the fact that he knew he lost, and dare I say this word, he knew he got robbed. But I respect what you got to say.
I'm biased, but I'm just trying not to be biased right now.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I obviously definitely want those Mercedes boys to win, but I think Ferrari's definitely going to show up and shut out, because they definitely have something to prove for them, their lack of development for the past 2 seasons. And like I said, those McLaren boys are definitely going to again show something, and with Ricardo definitely having a chip on his shoulder to prove, he's definitely going to do something. Again, Max Verstappen and Lewis are going to fight. They're going to do their things. And I think, again, are they going to come together? I hope they don't, but it's a very high possibility as the first race of the season. Yeah, we're going to see some crashes. And then, like I said, for everybody else coming in the mid-pack, Haas, they're going to do their things. I think they're going to be interesting because, Magnussen he drove the hell out of that car for coming into it, and having driven in Formula One for, I think, maybe 2 years. Again, I don't want to talk bad about the Williams, so I'm just gonna, what they say: if you don't have nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all.
Well, so talk about Williams, man.
So
my guys out.
I'm because so I'm gonna leave them alone.
You better be careful. You might not get that Richard Milley.
Right. So I'm gonna leave them alone for right now, until they give me something else to talk about. And then your Alfa Romeo Bottas. Again, I want to see what they're doing interesting there, and the AlphaTauris are going to be AlphaTauris, and then your Force India BWTs or whatever you want to call them, Renault.
And dude,
other team.
You went down the whole field. I was just saying your top. Who you think was going to run the top 3?
I just had to do it. I had to do it. My bad.
So I think, for me personally, I think Mercedes is gonna come back because they're ready. They said when they said okay, so that's how we playing. I think they're ready. I think Red Bull's gonna be there, but I think they're gonna have a strong fight between Ferrari. I think it's gonna be Ferrari and Red Bull duking it out. I feel like Russell is gonna be there, but I don't know. Like I said, I want to see what's gonna. After qualifying, I'll know. Qualifying doesn't really say everything because racing is different from shooting for that one great lap. But I just feel like Mercedes is going to be business as usual.
Yeah, I agree. Can I say?
And the only reason why I say that is because I've seen Mercedes in when they did, like, anytime Mercedes gets into anything, they always do good. They always dominate to a point where they're like, okay, we're good, and they step away.
That's the German engineering in them. Have to win. Has to be precise. Yep. So yeah, interesting. But again, just like we said, we just gonna think the front of the grid is gonna be the front of the grid, and we may have some shakeups in the back to the mid, but nothing to write home about. Again, Ferrari, McLaren, not all eyes, but a lot of eyes are going to be on you this season because you guys have the interesting hands to kind of give a shake up to that 1-2 dynamic.
But wouldn't that be nice though, to be like the old days, McLaren and Ferrari duke it out again?
It would be interesting to see. I think that they would put a lot of smile on a lot of people's graying faces that whose childhood was graced by the great Ferraris and the McLarens.
But see, that's the thing. McLaren was McLaren Mercedes, and then Mercedes just didn't like how McLaren was rolling. They were just kind of like, yo, if you're not going to be efficient, we'll show you what efficient is. And look what efficiency did. So,
yeah.
Okay.
But all right. Any other talking points or anything else that you guys wanted to bring up this weekend, or that we haven't talked about, or anybody that you really wanted to say screw you to? What's going on?
Not till the race. We're waiting for the race. That's what we want.
To the race.
Not to the race. All right, guys. So to wrap this up, till at least the next so after practice here, and we'll see what's going on FP2, because FP1 is going to be FP1, FP2 is going to be FP2. I think FP3 is going to be interesting, and then leading into qualifying. So see you then.
Wait, before we go, please like and subscribe our video if you like us. Hey,
thumbs up.
Right. All right.
Have a good night, guys.